Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to explore something very important for anyone learning English: how people talk in English naturally. Speaking English is not just about memorizing words or grammar rules. It's about using the language in real life, feeling confident, and expressing your thoughts clearly. Many learners struggle with speaking because they focus too much on being perfect. But in reality, fluency comes from practice, listening, and understanding how people actually speak. When people talk in English, they don't always speak in complete sentences or use textbook grammar. They often use short phrases, contractions, and everyday expressions. For example, instead of saying, "I am going to the store now," someone might simply say, "I'm heading to the store." This is natural English, and it's what native speakers do every day. Another important aspect is intonation and rhythm. English is not just about the words, it's about how you say them. People stress certain words in a sentence and sometimes drop small words like to or that in casual speech. Listening carefully to native speakers in movies, podcasts, or conversations helps you pick up these patterns naturally. Also, notice that English speakers often use fillers and simple responses in conversation. Words like well, so, actually, and phrases like you know or I mean are very common. These small words make speech sound smooth and natural, not robotic. For beginners, it's okay to start slowly and imitate these phrases in your daily practice. In this part, remember these key points. 1. Real English is not perfect grammar. It's natural and practical. 2. Contractions and short phrases are common. 3. Intonation, rhythm, and stress are important. 4. Fillers and simple expressions make your English sound natural. Part 2. Now that we understand how people speak naturally, let's focus on common expressions and phrases that are used in everyday English. These are the phrases that make conversations flow smoothly and help you sound confident. One of the first things you'll notice in real conversations is that people often greet each other in simple ways. Instead of saying, "Good morning, how are you doing today?" they might just say, "Hey, how's it going? Otu?" Or "Hi, what's up?" These small, casual greetings are very common and make the conversation feel friendly. Another key part of natural speech is responses to questions. For example, if someone asks, "How are you?" you don't always have to give a long answer. You can simply say, "I'm good, thanks," or "Not bad, and you?" Short, natural answers keep the conversation moving and sound genuine. People also use phrases to show interest or understanding. Words like, "Really?" "Wow," "That's interesting," or "I see" are used constantly. These words show that you are paying attention and engaged in the conversation. When you practice speaking, try to include these small words. They make a huge difference in how natural you sound. Another tip is how people transition between topics. Native speakers rarely jump abruptly from one subject to another. They use phrases like, "By the way," "Speaking of," or "That reminds me." These phrases help your English sound smooth and connected. Lastly, notice that in daily English, people repeat key words or ideas to emphasize them. For instance, "That movie was amazing, amazing," or "I'm really tired today." Repetition makes speech sound lively and expressive. So in this part, remember: 1. Casual greetings make conversations friendly. 2. Short, natural responses keep the flow smooth. 3. Words that show understanding or interest make you sound engaged. 4. Transition phrases connect topics naturally. 5. Repetition emphasizes ideas and makes speech lively. Part 3. Now that we know the common phrases and expressions people use, the next step is practicing them effectively. Learning English is not just about memorizing words. It's about using them in real conversations every day. The first and most important practice is listening carefully. Listen to how native speakers talk in movies, podcasts, or YouTube videos. Pay attention to the way they shorten words, use contractions, and add small expressions like you know or actually. Try to repeat after them, imitating their rhythm, intonation, and speed. This is called shadowing, and it is one of the fastest ways to sound natural. The second technique is speaking out loud daily. Even if no one is around, speak to yourself. Describe your actions, tell a story, or explain your day in English. For example, say, "I'm making breakfast now, and I think I'll have eggs and toast." This might feel silly at first, but it trains your brain to use English naturally. Another effective way is practicing with simple dialogues. Create short conversations based on daily life, like ordering food, asking for directions, or talking about the weather. Practice them repeatedly until the phrases feel natural. You can even record yourself and listen back to notice areas for improvement. It's also important to use English in real conversations whenever possible. Talk with friends, classmates, or language partners online. Don't worry about mistakes. What matters is expressing yourself and building confidence. The more you use English in real-life situations, the faster you'll sound natural. Finally, combine speaking with thinking in English. Instead of translating from your native language, try to form your thoughts directly in English. For example, when you see a dog, think, "That dog is so cute," instead of translating it word by word. This small change drastically improves fluency over time. Key takeaways from this part. 1. Listen carefully and imitate native speakers, shadowing. 2. Speak out loud daily, even to yourself. 3. Practice short, realistic dialogues. 4. Use English in real conversations to build confidence. 5. Think in English instead of translating from your native language. Part 4. Now we come to the most important part. Having real conversations naturally. Speaking English like a native is not just about using correct words. It's about keeping the conversation smooth, engaging, and comfortable. The first tip is asking questions. People keep conversations alive by showing interest in the other person. Simple questions like, "How was your day?" "What do you think about this?" Or, "Have you seen that movie?" Invite the other person to speak. Remember, asking questions is not just polite. It gives you more chances to practice speaking too. Next is responding naturally. You don't always need perfect grammar. Short responses like, "That's cool, I know, right?" or "Exactly," make your English sound real. Sometimes just nodding and saying "yeah" or "I see" keeps the conversation flowing. The key is to focus on communication, not perfection. Another tip is connecting ideas smoothly. Use phrases like, "by the way," "speaking of that," or "that reminds me." These small connectors help your conversation sound structured and natural. People often forget these little words, but they make a huge difference in sounding fluent. Also, don't be afraid of pauses. Native speakers often take short pauses to think or find the right words. It's okay to pause instead of rushing. You can use phrases like, "let me think," or, "that's a good question." Pausing shows confidence and gives you time to speak clearly. Finally, the most important tip is practice consistently. Speaking English every day, listening carefully, repeating phrases, and using them in real situations gradually builds your fluency. Over time, you will notice that your speech becomes natural, your confidence grows, and your English will start to sound like a native speaker. To summarize everything we've learned: 1. Focus on practical, natural English, not perfection. 2. Learn and use common expressions and short phrases. 3. Practice daily. Listen, speak, and think in English. 4. Keep conversations alive with questions, short responses, and connectors. 5. Be confident, pause when needed, and keep practicing. Remember, speaking English naturally is a skill you build step by step. Don't rush, enjoy the process, and soon you will find yourself talking with ease, just like native speakers. Thank you so much for watching. I hope today's tips help you speak English more naturally and confidently. Remember, learning to talk like a native takes time and consistent practice, so keep listening, speaking, and thinking in English every day. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss more tips to improve your English. And don't forget to practice what you learned today. Even small daily efforts make a big difference over time. Keep going. Stay confident. And soon you'll notice your English sounding smoother, faster, and more natural. See you in the next video.